relationship, but that can be easier said than done. Marianne's with a local life coach with some good communication advice.
Yeah, Cynthia Bazin with a Smart Chick Mentoring is back with us today. Where would you rank communication issues on the scale of like the top 5 problems that couples have?
I would say number 1, it starts with communication.
You're right. No, you're
really
right.
Starts
because they do argue over money and other kinds of things. But if you're not clear, then that's just when all these problems ensue.
Absolutely. So, pleasure to be here. As far as communication goes, in any relationship, there's going to be communication issues from time to time. The problem is when it goes from once in a while to it being a common issue like every single day. So we've got some hot tips to hopefully open up those communication lines with your partner.
Your first one is keep the communication lines open. How do you do that?
The key is that you have to come together as a team and want it to be better, okay? So you have to come together and say, you know what, I want things to be better and not shut down, okay? As far as the talking has to keep open, as well as this is that you have to make sure that you're seeking understanding and not trying to win. You know how it is when you want to be right. We can't be right. We've got to try to seek understanding.
So understand like what the other person, like where they're coming from, what's causing their angst in the first place.
Yes, listening for understanding.
Listening.
Yes.
All right. Number 2, know the best time to talk openly.
Right. Don't walk into a hot mess with your partner, meaning this. If your partner is not a morning person, for example, don't try to bring up a sensitive issue while they're drinking their coffee to the fog is trying to clear, right?
Yeah.
Is that make sure you're very strategic on the timing when that person is very relaxed and open to talking a little bit more. Also, really important for quality of words. A lot of times in communication issues, there's a lot of rattling, a lot of, just talking instead of really focusing in on the issue at hand. So that's the next tip.
All right. Number 3, focus on your feelings.
Right. This is really, really important to focus on I statements versus you statements. You statements is lashing out at the partner, right? And
you never do this, and you always do that.
Right. You're terrible to me. You hurt me, right?
Yeah.
Instead of saying, you know what, I was really hurt, yesterday, when you said this to me. You want to be very specific and you want to focus in on your feelings so hopefully the defense level goes down. Or another example would be, you never want to take me out. You could say instead, you know what, I really miss those times, when we went out and had great times, going to listen to music, going out to restaurants. So focusing on how you feel versus lashing out and saying what the partner is doing wrong.
That's good. So just as you're about to say a you statement, see how you could turn around into an I statement.
Check yourself, yes,
Check
and
yourself.
turn it into an I statement.
Check yourself at the door. All right, number 4, seek the underlying issue and get support.
The thing is this, with communication issues, it's really good to see, has this been an issue right from the beginning? If so, that's a really big problem. But a lot of times communication issues, kind of progress throughout the relationship or start at some point. So was there a particular incident? Or is there something going on in that person's life, like stress at work? Maybe there's some depression. Maybe there's some other things going on. So instead of just saying, oh, this person is not communicating to me, really try to understand what's going on. And it's really important, sometimes these things can't be handled alone, is that definitely seek out the support of a mentor or a coach or a therapist if you're really finding that the two of you really can't handle it alone.
I would add too, what do you think about bringing up, people famously bring up things that happened forever ago, but does that signify though that maybe those things weren't really dealt with and kind of still need to be?
Really not good to keep bringing things up because, you seriously have to try to get over them, work through them, and move forward. But if you do see those things keep on creeping up with things, that's definitely the sign that you need some outside support.
All right. Okay. If you want to get a hold of Cynthia, you can reach her. Here's a phone number for you. We'll put up on the screen. Also, next hour, we're going to take a couple of Facebook questions that people posted about communicating with significant others and a sibling that we found interesting. We'll share those. If you still have time, you can tweet me at Good Day Marianne. If you've got a question, too, we'll see if we can squeeze it in coming up here in about 20 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Fascinating
Marianne.
stuff, right? Thanks. Back to you.
Thank you. Hey, do you care if people like you? After the break, 3 things that can make you more likable. And Doug on San Juan at Greenback, or you can always reach him at facebook.com/thecarsare. Marianne is standing by once again with our own life coach who's answering your relationship communication questions.
Yeah, we're back with Cynthia Bazin of Smart Chick Mentoring. And this month on Tuesday, we've been answering questions as we try to help you navigate love in the month of February, right?
Yes.
The month of love, Valentine's Day and all that. So today's topic, we're tackling communication issues, which sometimes it's like, you're saying this and they're hearing this, and you don't understand why the other one isn't understanding understanding what you're trying to say or do.
Right. And we all have somebody in our lives, right, that, you know, it is really hard to communicate. And to start off, like I said in the last segment, is that the other person has to be open, you know, their eyes and their mind open to communicating back with you. So it just can't be a one-way street.
It's a learned art, though. I'm telling you. I have a sister who I adore, but there are times, like, I do not know what she's talking about, much less trying to understand where she's coming from.
So when you're on two different planes, it's so difficult, right, to try to come together. But hopefully some of the things, I know we've got some great questions and stuff like that. The goal, again, is trying to get the other person to open up, not for you to project, you know, what is wrong with that person.
You can't help it. You get so defensive, and you're trying to, you know, voice your own position. That's where we get caught up, is like, nobody's listening, nobody's hearing.
But if they don't understand, you know what I mean, we have to try to come up with ways in order for them to kind of get it and to open up.
All right, we got a couple of questions on Facebook today. We'll start with Jenny. How do you suggest communicating to a partner that due to their behavior and actions, you feel like a plan B option and not a priority?
That's an interesting question. All right, so for Jenny, she's feeling like she's option B to the partner. So the first thing, just like I said in the last segment, I think that she shouldn't lash out and just say, listen, you're treating me like plan B. Is that if that is occurring, there's probably some communication issues among both of them. So what I would suggest to Jenny is really just having a sit down with her spouse or partner, whatever it is, and just doing kind of like a relationship check-in. So she wants to get her message across, right, of how she's feeling. Is that kind of doing a relationship check-in and going, you know, how do you think things are going for you? So being able to listen to the other partner, so giving that person a chance to talk about how they feel about the relationship, what could be improved upon, and then she can bring up her feelings. Again, her feelings on, you know what, that, you know, I feel like, you know what, we're, you know, not communicating as much, or you're not paying enough, you know, attention.
She may find a totally different perspective.
Exactly.
And I think things are great.
Again, so not just focusing on herself, but opening the line of communications, because there might be some things that she wasn't aware of. So really focusing in on both of them and coming to hopefully an understanding to try to be better and not get bitter.
All right, Nancy is our question number 2. Speaking of siblings, how do you tell a sister that she needs to grow up and take care of herself and love herself? Well, probably you're going to say she needs to change her approach.
Yes, just like I said at the beginning of the segment, right? The last thing that she probably wants to hear, you know what I mean, that you're doing things wrong, you're wasting your life, even though we know that, and I'm going to assume that Nancy is correct, right? So the thing is this, she's probably tried that before with what? Probably terrible results. So what I would suggest to Nancy is this, again, really hard to do, but sitting down with the sister and kind of, hey, tell me about what's going on in your life, you know what I mean? And finding out, so, you know, are you happy? You know what I mean? And getting her to communicate, like, you know, no, it's not really, you know, what I'm looking for. If she says I'm happy, you know what I mean? Maybe you can, you know, address some of the things that you saw before and the behavior you're seeing now. But what you really want to do, Nancy, is really get your sister to open up on some of the things that are going on and finding out if there really is an issue there. From her perspective, she's probably not happy. She probably just doesn't know how to deal with it going forward. So opening up the line of communication. Nancy can't change her sister, but she can be an encourager, give her the tools and resources, and ask straight out, you know what, would you like things to get better? How would you, you know, do it yourself? You know what I mean? What are some other ways that you can improve your life? And then be there and say, you know, to your sister Nancy, you know, I'm here for you. If you would like some strategies, I've got some ideas. I would love to be there for you.
Awesome. Awesome advice. All right. You can reach Cynthia through her practice as a life coach. There's a contact information. We'll put that on gooddaysacramento.com under our show info page, and then today's date if you want to check it out. Always great advice.
Thanks
for coming by. We appreciate it. We've had fun doing this all month long. Ken, back to you.
I'll take all those notes. I need to get a recap on that later. Thank you. 8:51 on this Tuesday morning. It's the first day of Mardi Gras, and we are with Louisiana Sue. She's going to be sharing her original recipe coming